I was familiar with what you mentioned about the San Sandegi. Like I heard that later in the stream, but I thought it was had more to do with the language of the Kurds being very similar because they also used like just like the Javid Shah, Javid Shah, Javid Shah. They used Asadi, Asadi, Asadi. So are you saying like is like do you think there could be a co-option because they are
Okay,
currently
so
losing
you're
grounds
making a
anyway?
big
So
mistake again. I keep mentioning this. You talk about the Kurds and then the Kurdish separatists as if you're talking about the same thing. It's very important that you do not mix these two together. Okay, you're
right,
saying
no,
like, oh, but the Kurds, the majority of Iranian Kurds are
mm,
patriotic Iranians. Okay,
right.
so
But I'm
please
thinking like the movement that I saw.
don't refer to
Mm,
Kurdish. See, like, look how I'm using. I'm very careful with my words. I keep referring to them as Kurdish separatists. I don't refer to them as Kurds. It's an insult to Iranian Kurds for me to mix them with those. We Iranians, we love our Kurdish community, and our Kurdish community, they're fighting for the freedom of Iran as a unified country. They're fighting. The Kurdish Iranians are in the streets in Iran saying Javid Shah. So don't when you're talking about Kurdish separatists, just refer to them as separatists and not Kurds, right? And
but are they
also,
always
let me be more
separatist if you?
specific. I'm specifically talking about the chant Zan Zendegi Azadi that has been thrown out. Not Azadi. Azadi means liberty. Obviously, we're going to shout freedom. Obviously, we're going to continue to shout Azadi. We're fighting for liberty. We haven't gotten rid of the word liberty from our language. I'm specifically talking about that specific chant Zan Zendegi Azadi. That's not part of our chant anymore. Unless the prince decides, then it will come back. But our prince decides that. Our leader decides.
Do you think the Kurds? Because my impression was that the reason they were having it was because of the headways that the Syrian government was having against the Kurds in Syria. But what you're saying is like, because are you saying that the slogan it's a not only like a linguistic
Were they
similarity?
Iranian? Were they Iranian Kurds or some other Kurds?
I got the impression it was just
If
like
they
I
say
couldn't.
Jin, they're Iranian. If they said Jin, Jian Azadi, then might be from somewhere else. But Zan is like Persian, right?
I've seen the jinn, but it sounded to me like they said son, but I did hear Asadi, for example, and Magbar.
Yeah,
So maybe they
Azadi is the
were.
same. So we have to see. I don't know, but they're not with us. They're not with us. Anybody raising the Kurdish flag is not with us. Like the Kurdish flag of the nation state of Kurdistan is not with us. Our Kurds, our Iranian Kurds, they raise the lion and sun flag of Iran. They don't raise the Kurdish flag. So
So
anybody
there's
raising
a.
that flag is not with us.
Do you think there's any chance that the those who were at the demonstration had adopt like it had it's a kind of a slogan the Sans and the Gi or Jin was that something that they had like by
I haven't
themselves or is
seen
it
that
something that
slogan
they've
being
come
used, right? So I don't understand who these people are. I haven't
to
seen Kurdish people. Maybe they have. I don't know.
because I picked
I
up some
don't. I'm not.
Druze who
I'm
disseminated
more
from the
familiar.
Kurds.
I'm more familiar with Iranian Kurds and what happens inside Iran than Kurdish people outside of Iran. So I don't know about that.
Yeah, because there was some similar from there
But
was some Druze
all
who
I
were
know is
disseminating
whether
the.
they're Iranians or not Iranians, whatever they were doing there has nothing to do with our revolution. And if it has anything to do with our revolution, it's against our revolution. That's
Yeah,
all I know. Okay. It's either irrelevant or against us, but it's not with us.
Hi, Armin. Can you hear me?
Yes.
First, I want to say thank you so much for doing all of this. I've been watching the stream for 20 days now. I just want to say thank you so much. I know how hard it is to spend so much of your time every single day for this, to answer so many questions back to back to back every day. تسلیت میگم. متاسفم.
Alhamdulillah.
My question for you is something a bit more personal, so I was wondering if I should ask it, but I decided to, and it's
Go ahead.
I've been wondering as a member of diaspora, so I'm Iranian American, how can I go to Iran and help rebuild our country once we win? If my plan is to go get a job in the transitional government or whatever it may be, do you have any advice on that?
Well, I mean, just what are you good at? I'm a capitalist. I think that the best way to be productive for a society, yes, Samantha had to remember. I remember Samantha to make sure she gives the thumbs down when I say capitalist. I think the best way to be productive to a society is to just try to be the best at what you're at and try to provide for yourself in a proper free country Like right now, we're living on a very unusual, weird situation where we have to be sacrificing and sometimes giving up our own self interest for the sake of others. But that's not how a normal country should operate. A normal country is a country where you're actually contributing the most to society when you're actually trying to contribute most to yourself. So the act of self interest is actually in line with providing for the rest of society. That's how a free society operates. Where when you go and that's the Iran that we want. We want a free Iran where everybody could just focus on just doing the best thing for themselves and their family. And by doing that, they're also producing, because think about it, in a free society, the best way for you to provide for yourself is to create things that other people want. If you don't have corruption, how can you get rich when there's no corruption? If you actually get rid of corruption and government involvement in businesses, what is the best way to get rich? To produce what other people want, to provide the best services and the best goods that other people want. So you only could get ahead by doing the most for other people. We want a society where you could focus on what you want and what your family wants, and in that process, everybody else will benefit as well.
I understand. And then, so I have a small follow up. So, how realistic do you think it is for members of the diaspora to be able to return to Iran and have an impact?
Well, here's the thing: you don't even have to. I mean, return. I mean, if you, I think if you should return if that is the best thing for you and your family, right? I think one thing that is going to be really good for keeping Iran connected to the rest of the world is having the Iranian diaspora. I think that and building a connection with the outside world to Iran is also going to be very valuable. So, countries with a educated, rich diaspora are a bridge between their country and the rest of the world. So we shouldn't under like we should understand the value of that as well. So there's many ways. So you just have to see what works for, like, there is no one answer, one solution for every person. You have to see what your skills are, what makes sense for you. Does that make sense? Like, do you know
Yeah,
what
it
I'm
does make
saying?
sense.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, you don't necessarily have to go back. You have to go back if that's what you desire the most, right? But some it makes sense for some Iranians to live outside of Iran, and there are many ways to contribute. You don't have to go back to Iran. Just go back there if it's yeah. But also, I don't know regarding when and how we can do this. I think it really depends on how long the like depends on the transition period, right? So we have to see how that process goes. And also during the transition period, we might need a lot of Iranians outside of Iran to help from outside with the transition period, because the transition period is going to require a lot of cooperation with the rest of the world, to take that into account as well. So again,
Yeah,
sorry if I don't have a specific answer, because I think everybody has to look at their skills, look at their abilities, look at their connections,
yeah, of course.
look at their network. So I think it really depends. The best society is where, like, we're Iran is like in wartime condition, right? So we need to think like we need to Iranians need to sacrifice because we're in wartime situations. But what we want to be in a situation where people don't have to think about sacrifice. I want to have a normal country where people could think about, having a beautiful, rich life rather than sacrifice. I don't want the Iranians to continue having to sacrifice.
Armin, we have Ezekiel next. However, someone requested, if it's possible, can you please link in the chat the video that you have with the blood drawing?
Oh, okay. I have to tweet it because I just have the picture.
Even sending the a link to a picture would be good. It's a very powerful picture.
While Armin does that, just a reminder for everyone, he has about 35 minutes left until the hour. So if anybody has a question that maybe, they can save for another time, or just another easy reminder to watch our time.
So I'm gonna put a caption for it. Iranians write Javid Shah with their own blood in the streets of Iran. Is that a okay caption?
Yeah, very impactful.
Yeah, okay. All right, Ezekiel, you wanted to?
Yes. Hi, I'm new here, so thanks for having me. I'm Ezekiel, and I just wanted to say I think we should all keep in our minds just the level of how close we are to the things that happen and how privileged we are. Because for someone in some country where there's almost no consequences for whatever happens in Iran now, it can be very easy to debate the hot questions and just, it's they have all the time in the world. For people inside Iran with guns aimed at them, it can be completely a different story, a completely different story. And for us Israelis, for example, well, not in the middle, we are much closer to the guys that have no consequence. We may need to run to bomb shelters, and we may lose some buildings, and some people may even get hurt, but that cannot be compared at all to what people in Iran are going through. And I think also Iranians in the diaspora, just the thought that people they know and who didn't contact them for some time, that something might happen to them, we need to think how we would feel in that point. Just to keep that in mind, I'm not saying we shouldn't be debating questions, but we should keep that in mind all the time. That's all. Thanks.
I do want to say the Jewish people have experienced what we are experiencing in the past 2 weeks for thousands of years, though, right? So they might be in a position right now where they have a amazing army protecting them. I mean, we still did have October 7th, and they're still experiencing still a lot of hate and attacks globally. But we do. I mean, I personally do think that if there's anybody who understands what we're going through right now as the Jewish people, based on the generational trauma that they have gone through, like for thousands of years. So I think if anybody could understand it, it's the Jewish people.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree with that. And I think we also prove the importance of having a very wide diaspora. So that's also a good point you made.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, thank
Okay.
you.
It's my turn. BT is driving, so I'm responsible on the list now. BT, you said you have a. Okay, then later I'll add you to the list.
I'm gonna make you a mod as well. Okay, is that okay?
Okay, yeah, that's fine. It's not. It's just not that I can promise to be in every discussion.
That's why I'm trying to increase the number of mods so that
Yeah.
we have so that
Okay.
mods don't have to think about always having to be here.
Okay. So 2 points, and it's relating. It's less for you, I mean, it's more for like people here that are from America, from Europe, Australia. I can't stress it enough that there is a general sense of the mentality of the Middle East, and Iranians are not that mentality. Iranians are very strong, they're very willed, but they're also majority, at least, are very liberal, very very more Western than people think. So I get that many people that come from Western countries, they see all of this and they think, oh, it's gonna be like Syria, it's gonna be like Iraq, we're gonna replace the Taliban with the Taliban. Like that, those are things that I'm hearing all the time. It's not the same because it's a different mentality. The other thing I wanted to say was specifically to talk real quick about the internet thing. I know it's been a while ago, but we already know why the regime wanted to turn off the internet. They already did it. in 2019. And it worked for them. They killed, some estimate a few hundred, some estimate a few thousand. Definitely not like what it is now, but it stopped. So that was a strategy that worked. And yes, it is completely the protest, the revolution that is happening today is completely different. It is, we're talking about millions of people on the streets. And then I have the one question for you. A lot in our media, obviously they're talking every day about updates about Iran, but today and yesterday specifically, they're saying that we're estimating that we have intel, that estimations that the protests are actually starting to die down and people are actually starting to not show up anymore. A lot still do, but it seems to be dying down, and people are asking if we missed the window for attack.
So the protests are not dying down. We just had a tactical retreat. That's the exact words that Prince Reza Pahlavi has used, right? People have to understand that nobody saw this level of massacre coming. Okay, not even from the Iranian side. The number of people that the Islamic Republic killed was above what people understood would happen. So there is a reevaluation of how we need to deal with this, because there's two surprises that happened. First of all, when people showed up after the call to action by Princess of Pahlavi, the number of people who showed up was way above anybody expected. The Iranian people themselves didn't expect as many people to show up. Princess of Pahlavi, I don't think he expected that many people to show up. And the Islamic Republic didn't expect as many people to show up. Everybody was shocked. The understanding was that if the streets get filled with millions of people, that's it. It's game over, because the Islamic Republic will realize, well, I cannot just shoot this many people. Like I can't just shoot like tens of thousands of people. They will come. They will come and chew at my neck, as we say in Persian. In Persian, we have a saying like, "They will come chew at my neck," right? Like this is game over. Like that would be the time that we're like, okay, this is too many. We can't kill this many people, so let's like we have to surrender or something like that, right? But what happened is that apparently what Khomeini had said, we have to listen to him. Khomeini had saying, he says, "Ojab wajibat," which means the highest of all priorities, meaning that the highest of all priorities is for the Islamic rule to continue. And he said that this is so high of a priority that is even a higher priority than the Mahdi to come, meaning that if we have to kill the Mahdi for us to continue Islamic rule, we will even kill the Mahdi, right? So they started shooting at people in a way that not only within the history of Islamic Republic we haven't seen this. We haven't seen this within the history of Iran as a whole. Some people might say like, "Oh, didn't you have the Mongols?" The reason why we haven't had anything like this is because every time we had mass killing, it was on the way of if somebody doing an invasion and taking over. We never had this amount of killings when on the way out. When somebody was being toppled, right? So these people have decided that they were going to do everything and anything possible to stay in power. So Iranian people's understanding was, if we come out in the million, we will win. That's over. But now they realize that this regime is even more monstrous than we imagined. Like we knew that they were monstrous, but even us never expected anything like this. So what we have is a tactical retreat, and the reason why the revolution hasn't died is because what the Islamic Republic has done is so unforgivable that the Iranian people have decided that they're willing to pay every price to topple it. And
There's
even
no way back from
people
here
who
now.
weren't part, there's no going back from this. What we're hearing is that the Islamic Republic was killing people so that the people get scared and don't come back out. But now people who weren't going out in the first wave, they have decided that they're going to join the next round of the protest because they have lost somebody. And the Iranian people cannot accept this high of a price and then nothing to show for it. So, one thing the Iranian people are waiting for, the main thing the Iranian people are waiting for is the command of Princess of Pahlavi, right? But another thing that they're waiting for is to see whether America and Israel are going to attack or not. Some Iranians are very, very angry that they haven't showed up yet. There are some Iranians who are very, very angry. And if you want me to go over that, I could talk about that. But other Iranians are talking about the fact that they're going to see what the attack is going to be and how much is it going to weaken the Islamic Republic. And then also, they're, as we're speaking, they're planning the next wave. And this time they're coming. If the first wave of the revolution was with the goal of overwhelming the regime and making them join the people, it seems like it. It seems like the second wave is being designed for killing whoever they get their hands on, right? So the first wave was like, we come out, we're too many. They're gonna see that we're so high, so they're gonna be like, okay, let's join the people. There's no way to end this. But this time they're coming out to kill. That's what this seems like people are planning on to do. So just overwhelm them and then get their hands on them and turn them into pieces. All right. And they're getting ready for that. And even if the attack from United States and Israel doesn't come, they're determined to do something themselves. They're just waiting to see if there's going to be an attack that weakens the Islamic Republic so that they come after that, maybe. Does that answer your question?
Yes. But you can mod me if you want. Cat Lady also says that you can mod them if you want. And next is Sammy.
Thank you, guys. Amy?
Amy,
Yeah,
are
can
you
you hear
here?
me?
Here you go.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
we can hear you.
Okay, so obviously, thank you for taking my question. I'm in the United States, so I'm seeing this from the US perspective. And I'm watching everything else that's going on within the United States itself and watching Canada.
Amy, you were speaking, but I think you muted yourself. Amy?
Okay, I'm back. Okay. All right. So, anyway, I'm in the US and I'm seeing this from a different perspective. I think there's a lot more going on on a larger global, bigger picture kind of thing. I do know that help is coming, obviously. I don't know what it's going to look like, but my question is for the people in Iran, when this is over and they've got their country back, what are they going to do for, and this is like putting the cart before the horse, but what are they going to do for money? How are they going to exist? Like, how does anybody, I have no idea, like, how this is going to work, you know? Does that make
Okay.
sense?
No, yeah, no, that's good. I mean, as an American, right? If your
Mhm.
country is getting involved in something, you need to be asking about, like, well, how is this going to, what is it going to be the result of all this, right? Like, you're an American taxpayer.
No, no, not
You're
I'm not coming from like, I don't care how it affects me. I'm worried about how the people of Iran are going to pay for things. How are they going to support
okay.
themselves? Yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah.
wondering.
All right. I mean, we have a lot of oil and gas, right? So we're going to be selling that finally at a good price, because right now China is basically taking it at discount prices. So we have a lot of oil and gas. So that's going to go a long way, right? Given the sanctions are going to be removed hopefully soon, we're going to
Uh-huh.
be able to sell that at market prices rather than
Mhm.
discounted prices to China. We have a lot of natural resources. I'm gonna leave the best for last. This is not the most important thing, right?
Okay.
We have a lot of natural
Yes.
resources, right?
I'm learning that.
We have a rich history and culture, which is
Right.
going to be a major source of tourism for us. I'm
Yeah.
expecting a lot of Israeli tourists, especially as well, because we have a lot of sites that Israelis would have been dying to visit, a
Cool.
major part of their history as well.
Right.
A lot of Jewish history is in Iran, especially the tomb of Cyrus the Great.
Yeah. Right.
And also Esther, her tomb as well is in Iran as well. So they want to visit that as well. So there's a lot of tourism. Like we have four seasons, we have a lot of historical sites, we have a lot of beautiful beaches, so much to come to visit. So that's going to be a major source as well. But I
Mhm.
think most importantly is the most important resource that we have is the Iranian people. The Iranian people are very educated, they're very entrepreneurial, they're very hardworking, they're very eager to be connected to the rest of the world, to trade with the rest of the world, to contribute to the rest of the world. I mean, for example, as an American, you might have noticed how contributing Iranians have been in America, right?
Oh
Look at
yeah, for
the finance sector, the tech sector. You could see that wherever they're kind of like
just
Jews
even in
to
the
some extent.
communities, like the
Yeah.
interpersonal relationships with Iranians in communities that I've lived in, how different it
Oh, you got muted again, but yeah,
did it. But
go on.
anyway, yeah. No, it just it's a very deep kind of loving,
Yeah.
wonderful
So
thing.
I think the most important resource of every society is not its natural resources, it's its human resources, right? Because a
Excellent.
lot of
Yeah.
people, yeah, a lot of people think like wealth is something that gets transferred from for one person to another. Wealth is
Yeah.
something that is created, right? And
Right.
you
Right.
create wealth. So natural resources are the wealth that are something that you could, the wealth that you have, right? But your
Right.
human resources are the health that you could generate. And wealth generation is more important than the wealth that you have. And because the Iranian people have the proper values and the proper mindset and the proper amount of ambition and the proper education, I think after we get to a stable situation, I think wealth generation is not going to be an issue in Iran.
Yeah. Right. You
Muted
know
again.
what? That's good for now. You
Yeah.
guys, I could go on and
Yeah.
on and on. So whoever's next.
Okay.
Yeah, no worries.
I saw Sammy is not here.
Just one last. As soon as the sanctions are removed, once we're free, there's going to also be a lot of capital flowing into Iran because a lot of people want investment opportunities inside Iran, and there's a
Absolutely.
lot of yeah, there's a lot of underpriced based on the potential. Yeah, Uncle Coping is saying he wants to do that as well because given that there's so but imagine that like investors are looking for opportunities, so once that opens up there's going to be a lot of investments in Iran is going to be underpriced for the value that they have to generate, so people are going to be dying to come in and basically take advantage of this high returns that they could have by investing in different opportunities in Iran. So that's also another thing to look forward to.
Yeah, I don't think that anybody knows. I don't think anybody can see what this is going to mean for the entire world.
Okay,
You're
we have
welcome.
15 minutes left before the hour. Jeffrey. Jeffrey.
He had stepped away just a few moments ago. He might not be back.
Okay.
Okay.
Samantha.
All right, I was gonna say, yeah, no, like media is not giving anywhere near as enough attention about what's happening in Iran as it should be. The protests about ICE in America are getting more media, way more media attention than Iran is getting in America. So, like, and then the media attention that Iran does get is very much like, intentionally meant to not show people chanting for the Shah to the point where it's like,
Wow.
you like to say that like, oh, no, I'm gonna tell you, most people left of center. I mean, it's not even most people. It's like practically no one left of center honestly thinks that people chanting for the Shah in Iran make up any sort of majority. Like that's not the case. No one left of center thinks that people in Iran really want the Shah back.
That's crazy. That's insane. Oh, that's so sweet. That I got. Oh, thank you. Thank you for saying that.
Okay. Soapbox. Soapbox.
Yes,
Here we go.
yes. Oh, hi. I really should be skipped. Go ahead and give it to the next guy or gal, Samantha, whatever. I'm just listening, learning.
Okay.
By the way, Soapbox, I'm grateful that you're here. I hope like I didn't say anything that upset you. Okay, like
Oh,
we're gonna have
Armin,
a lot
that's
of philosophical. Yeah.
that's totally okay. I just like to deep think, and I know
Yep.
that like your opinion with me before about the cart before the horse, right? But you're looking at victory now on the street. I get it. That's got to
Yes.
happen first, and I was just trying to lay out a little bit of a structure.
Yep. No, no,
Uh,
yeah, I understand that. I promise you that we're going to have a lot of political philosophy discussion. If you go look at the courses section in our school, you could see that I was starting to do that, and it stopped because of the revolution, right? So I
right.
promise you we're going to have a lot of discussions like that here in this group, and I'm also making a series of courses in political philosophy and political science in Persian for our Persian channel. So I understand the importance of that. I was just like, so we're going to have a lot of those discussions here.
Oh, I get
So
it, and man,
yeah,
I get it.
yeah,
It's like it's hard to you conceive of things that are considered like too abstract. While you got people
yep,
leaving their blood all over the street, right? I get that.
yes,
I mean, it's I'm not there. You have family, friends. Everybody here does, or many do, whatever. But it's not my country. I just have Iranian friends. So I
yep,
get
that's
it.
okay.
I'm just laying into you because of the fact that I think that you have certain ideals and principles that you want to see installed in your new country, your old country rather, but your new government so that
Yes.
you can shape it the way you people want. And that's
Yeah,
important.
honestly, I'm fighting for Iranian people being able to decide that. I'm not really fighting. I mean, I have my own preferences, but
Right.
I'm actually not fighting for my preferences. I and many other Iranians are fighting for the right to be able to choose those preferences when the time comes,
I
right?
understand.
So we're just
It's like,
yeah,
we got to do A before we get to B. If your house is on fire, the first thing you need to do is, put the house
yeah,
fire out. And then we start sorting out who gets to live in what bedroom later. I mean,
okay,
that's
yeah,
kind of the analogy, right?
yes.
We always have a framework, though. I know that you are a liberty minded kind of individual. So I know where you come from. You're not a communist or a statist, right? Everybody's trying to team together and get this mess sorted out, topple that IRGC, and then move on. And then historically, this is how it happens. There's a little bit of a scramble fight afterwards, and everyone's going to look to who's going to be doing which power bits on this side or that one, right? Globally, that's always the case. I mean, just study
All
a
right,
little
so
bit of
I
history.
think
You
we
made your
got this
point?
point.
Yeah, let's move on.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
No, thank you for being here.
Yeah, Joel.
Oh, did y'all? Okay.
Dajal, get that bass in here, boy.
I'm sorry, I'm
Yeah,
tired.
yeah, it's all right. Yeah, I mean, I was going to ask, man. I know most Iranian Kurds are loyal and patriotic and support the Shah. What percentage is separatist, though? I'm just curious.
We don't have a poll on that, but we do have a poll that shows that separatists as a whole in the country are like 3% or something. But that was a poll from many years ago. I don't
Uh,
know. But I think if I had to, do you want me to guess?
yeah, why not?
Because I think that if I had to guess, I think for the Kurdish people, again, this is just a guess. I don't have a poll. I think it's less than 5% for the Kurds.
Oh, wow.
I think among the Turks that might be higher a little bit, but still a minority.
Yeah, that makes sense.
For the Turks, I wouldn't be surprised if it gets like, I don't know, maybe to 20%, maybe. I have no idea, by the way, if this is just guess, right?
Yeah,
But I just know it's not going to reach, like, it's still going to be a minority.
yeah, of course. How many Turks are in Iran?
I don't know. I have to look it up.
Yeah,
I know based on different polls, I've seen between 50 to 60% is Persian. So the remaining is divided between different ethnic groups. So I don't know exactly what percent is each one. I just know it's basically around more than a bit over half of it is Persian.